He gave you every chance. Every silence, every distant glance, every withdrawn word, they were all quiet warnings. But when you crossed that invisible line, the calm turned into a calculated storm. And unlike anything you've ever experienced before, it wasn't loud, it was final. What really happens when the most mysterious man in the room gets pushed too far? He's not an alpha who needs to roar or a beta who will fold and flee. He's the sigma, the outsider who walks alone, who thinks deeper, and who strikes harder in silence than others do in rage. When you provoke him past the point of no return, what follows is not revenge, it's transformation. Today, we dive into the mind of a Sigma male when anger finally takes hold, why it rarely surfaces, how it simmers in silence, and why those who spark it are left with lifelong regret. Imagine a wolf living beyond the pack. Not snarling, not barking, just observing from a shadowed ridge. But cross into his territory, and he won't warn you. He'll strike without a sound, and you won't even realize you've bled until he's already gone. Let's explore 8 powerful traits that reveal what happens when a Sigma male gets angry. 1. They withdraw before they strike. They don't explode, they extract themselves. When a Sigma male feels wronged, his first reaction isn't noise or confrontation. It's distance. A cold, silent retreat that feels like emotional exile to the offender. While alphas assert and betas submit, sigmas vanish, but not without reason. Psychology behind it. Their emotional intelligence is razor sharp. They know that reacting too soon only exposes vulnerability. Withdrawing gives them clarity, perspective, and complete control over their emotions and strategy. Real-life scenario. A Sigma male overlooked for a promotion doesn't protest. Instead, he stops contributing beyond his duties, focuses on his growth, and eventually builds a rival business that eclipses his former employer. Metaphor. A Sigma's retreat is like a chess master stepping back to study the board, not in fear but in foresight. 2. They use silence as their first weapon. They don't argue. They don't explain. They vanish into silence that speaks louder than words ever could. That silence becomes uncomfortable, even haunting, to those who wrong them. Psychology behind it. They understand that silence creates reflection. Where noise would escalate the drama, quiet forces the offender to confront their own conscience. That stillness becomes a mirror. Real-life scenario. After a betrayal, a Sigma male doesn't text long explanations or air grievances. He simply stops responding, and that void leaves the betrayer spiraling in their own guilt. Metaphor. A Sigma's silence is like a pitch-black room. It forces others to sit with themselves. 3. They channel anger into ruthless self-improvement. They don't retaliate. They reinvent. When anger hits, Sigma males don't dwell in pain. They convert it into purpose. They use betrayal as rocket fuel for elevation. Psychology behind it. They know that revenge through growth is more satisfying than revenge through destruction. Their minds are wired for advancement, not decay. Real-life scenario. Rejected by a partner or underestimated by peers, they return not with vengeance, but with victory, physically stronger, emotionally sharper, and financially empowered. Metaphor. A Sigma's anger is like pressure on a diamond, intense, focused, and ultimately transformative. 4. They set boundaries with brutal finality. They are not in the business of second chances. A Sigma will not beg, plead, or remind. When you've disrespected their boundaries enough times, they shut the door forever. Psychology behind it. To them, loyalty is sacred. Once broken, it cannot be patched. They believe in firm exits over endless forgiveness. Real-life scenario. A Sigma enduring repeated emotional manipulation from a family member cuts off all contact. No announcement, no confrontation, just absence. Metaphor. When they end a relationship, it's like a guillotine drop, swift, clean, irreversible. 5. They hit with precision, not chaos. They are not chaotic in their response. When they do act, it's targeted, specific, and efficient. Their retaliation isn't a scene, it's a surgical strike. Psychology behind it. They aren't interested in drama. They seek justice, not validation. Their mind calculates the most impactful course of action without drawing unnecessary attention. Real-life scenario. Faced with slander at work, a Sigma male compiles quiet evidence and presents it to upper management. No arguments, just facts that dismantle the liar's credibility. Metaphor. Their anger is a scalpel, not a hammer. It cuts deep, not wide. 6. They walk away, even when they could destroy. They are not driven by ego. Even when they have the power to retaliate, they often choose silence and departure over scorched earth revenge. Psychology behind it. True strength to a Sigma is restraint. They believe that nothing is gained by lowering oneself to petty warfare. Dignity matters more than dominance. Real-life scenario. Wronged by a friend in public, a Sigma male simply walks away and channels that energy into building something new and far more powerful. Metaphor. Their retreat is like a lion ignoring a barking dog, majestic, unmoved, unbothered. 7. They let karma do the talking. They are not obsessed with making someone pay. Instead, they believe in the quiet justice of the universe. Time and truth, they know, always reveal the real story. Psychology behind it. Sigmas have faith in the long game. They understand that energy returns to its source, and they don't need to interfere with fate. Real-life scenario. After being falsely accused, they take no action. Months later, the accuser is exposed through their own actions without any interference from a Sigma. Metaphor. They let life be the courtroom and truth the judge. 8. They evolve so far, you can't reach them anymore. They are not waiting for an apology. Once hurt, they grow so far beyond what hurt them that the past becomes irrelevant. Their success becomes a silence no one can penetrate. Psychology behind it. To them, revenge is growth. Moving on isn't weakness, it's dominance. They rise so high that even old enemies can't see them anymore. Real-life scenario. After being left heartbroken, a Sigma male reinvents his life. Years later, he's thriving, while the person who left him still searches for closure they'll never receive. Metaphor. They are the mountain that rose silently while others fought in the valley. Powerful closing quote. Beware the fury of a patient man. John Dryden. Final takeaway. When a Sigma male gets angry, it's not a scene. It's a shift. It's the silence that grows heavy, the distance that stings, the growth that humbles, and the absence that haunts. You don't hear it coming, but when it arrives, it changes everything. Reflective closing question. Have you ever been shaken not by what a man said, but by what he chose not to say?